Good morning, everyone. It is another wonderfully rainy spring day here in Michigan. So I thought we'd talk about the new crossbow, right? The one that I'm sure you've all seen, and that is the Ravin R470, which you can see here. Now, as you guys know, Ravin tends to be out of the price range that I'm looking at, right? I would call myself a budget crossbow hunter. That being said, I have nothing against Ravin. I would love to use a Ravin. I would love to test this Ravin out someday, right? But I just want to look at it because obviously we don't have hands-on yet. But look at this, kind of talk about some of the things I see, some of the things that look good, some of the things that would maybe be annoying for someone of my mindset. If you're under the similar mindset of functionality, right? I don't necessarily want all the bells and whistles on my crossbows. I want functionality, ease of use, and durability, right? Which I think the durability you're probably going to get with Ravin 90% of the time, right? They're up there in the market. They're known for being one of the best. At least the people who have them say that they're one of the best. I guess I wouldn't personally know, but let's just kind of look at this from the viewpoint of just a very practical view, right? That's kind of what I like to do, right? Obviously, there's crossbows out there that have the speed now, right? So that's, to me, the higher the speeds go, I don't know if that's the best. We've talked about that in other videos. Speed can be good, but do you need that much speed? So let's go ahead and take a look at this, right? Let's go ahead and just look at it. So what you have is a very compact crossbow, which I would put in the plus, right? You're looking at, I think it's like 26 and a half inches, somewhere in there, just over 2 feet, right? Which is not a big crossbow, right? So you're going to have the balance that you want. And with this, it's all very compact, right? You're looking at extremely tight cams. I forget exactly the measurement here. Let's go ahead and see if it says how wide it is. I want to say it was like 4 inches from cam to center of cam to center of cam. Now, I don't know that 100% because I'm not finding it, but it's extremely narrow. Extremely narrow. You know what? Let's just watch this video. Let's just watch this video that they put up, and that kind of will tell you, 4.3 axle to axle, right? But look at how far out from there those cams are, right? Those are pretty decent sized cams. So yeah, you're wider than that, but let's be honest, that is crazy narrow, right? It's crazy narrow. It really is. And that's very, very cool. So let's watch this video. I'll put it up for you guys, and you can kind of see all their, let's call it their hype video, right? There's some cool stuff in there.
Hunting has evolved, and Ravin is leading the way. Introducing the Ravin R470, the next generation of crossbow technology. At its core is the hex coil cam system. Dual cables above and below the center line create a perfectly centered arrow path. Driven by hex coil's 300 degrees of rotation, the R470 delivers blistering speed, perfect balance, and elite downrange accuracy, all in one of the most compact designs Ravin has ever built. And compact performance demands intelligent design. The VersaDrive cocking system uses a revolutionary dual lead screw drive for a smooth, effortless draw. An internal brake allows cocking and uncocking to pause or resume at any point. With a built-in clutch to prevent overcocking, it's simple, smooth, and silent. From draw to release, every detail matters. The Ravin R470's track trigger firing system ensures a centered and balanced draw while the frictionless flight system removes rail contact for a clean, friction-free release. With the 100-yard illuminated Ravin 550 scope, it doesn't just extend your range, it redefines what's possible. This is more than the next crossbow. This is the next era of hunting. This is the Ravin R470.
So after watching that video, some pretty cool stuff, right? So I actually like how, if you look here, it's like a barrel, right? I like that because it offers scope versatility, right? If you watch Death by Bungie, I reference him a lot. I watch a lot of his videos. He uses those big old range-finding scopes that we talked about in a past video. This is going to support that, right? You're not going to have all that flex. And when you're launching with this bow, you're going to have, a lot of vibration. So having that barrel designed to hold your scope, that is very cool. I like that a lot. Okay. I also like how there's not a lot touching your bolt when you go to shoot, so you have a lot less friction. Also very cool. I like the drive, for cranking it back. You've got basically a gear drive in there, right? Or, with those rails that turn, that's gonna last, right? Or it should last if it's made correctly. So those seem like pluses. Now, one of the downsides of these, and I think you're gonna see this a lot on these crossbows, is when you get these crankback crossbows, right? A lot of them, you lose the ability to have an adjustable buttstock. Now, for some people, they don't care. For me, it matters, right? Sorry, phone died there. So you lose that adjustable buttstock. If someone wants to borrow your crossbow, whether that be a family member, a friend, hey, last year my neighbor hurt his arm. I said, hey, borrow my crossbow, right? So you're going to lose the ability to do that easily for people. They're going to have to adjust to what you're used to instead of kind of tweaking it to them, which may not be a big deal, but to me it is. Like, if you have a large family and you don't want to buy a bunch of crossbows, you want a crossbow that can be adjusted a little bit depending on the size of the person, or, otherwise they have to just get used to everyone having the same crossbow, which you can do that. But I personally, and I think some other people, like the versatility of having the adjustments available to you, right? Watching that video, the crank on this is like very thin and small. I don't know if they have a picture of it here, but it goes, it's small, right? Which can be good, but also to me, give me a little bit beefier of a crank, something I feel a little bit more like it's not going to bend, it's not going to break. If I accidentally step on it, I'd like to see a little bit thicker of a crank. Again, just me personally, but you're paying, over $2,000 for this. Give me a beefier crank, maybe. And maybe it's fine. Maybe it's super strong. Just something I would like to see. Now, I think looking at this, some of the things that I really wish it had, and none of these do. Right here, you don't have, the foot stirrup. Again, I hang mine up. Lots of people hang them in the garage, hang them downstairs. And I really think Centerpoint has it down with that flip down into like a bipod, basically, foot stirrup. If you don't want the foot stirrup in the way, then have it fold back, right? But give us that, especially if you're paying $2,000 for a crossbow. Give us something that we can hang our crossbow up with. I don't know. Maybe I'm on a box by myself there, but I don't think I am. I think a lot of us would like to see somehow a foot stirrup on these. And there's a guy, oh, I can't remember his YouTube channel. Backyard Outdoors or something like that here. But he actually makes attachments for these so you can hang them up. I mean, great for him, right? Great for him. He saw a need and he made a business out of it. Good for him. But if you need one, I guess check him out. Let me get his exact name here for you. Okay. Backyard Broadheads. I knew it was Backyard something, right? So Backyard Broadheads is this guy. And he actually makes hangers for these. And yeah, if you need something, I think he actually makes those hangers and some other accessories for Ravin. So if you're a Ravin guy, or if you want to get this bow and you're like, hey, I'd like to hang it up, you know, show off my $2,000 investment, then check out this guy. He'll probably be making one for it or has one that will fit it, hopefully. Support this guy. He saw a need and is filling it. So that's pretty cool. I love seeing that. I really do. Now, you might be saying, hey, what's this? Let me blow it up for you guys. I was looking at the Killer Instinct SWAT X1, I think it was called. And they look really similar. Like if we look at these two together, if I pull up a picture of both, kind of have the same look, don't you? But what do you get on that SWAT X1? You get a foot stirrup that folds down. Very cool. I'm actually really bummed to see that Killer Instinct has stopped making the SWAT X1, because what I see when I look at this Ravin 470 is a very similar look to the SWAT X1. I feel like Killer Instinct was almost there, right? With I don't know if you want to say competing, but they were in the same area of design as this Ravin. So maybe if you don't want to buy an expensive Ravin, see if you can find a used or new, but you probably have to look on eBay or something, Killer Instinct SWAT X1. And if you want to learn more about those, again, Death by Bungie, loves those things, all kinds of videos about those. But the first thing I thought when I saw this 470 is, wow, that looks like the SWAT X1. The handle, it looks all right. Doesn't really look customizable in any way. Again, that would be something that would be kind of cool, I guess, if you could customize your handle. But I think it's pretty simple, right? What you see is what you get. You're basically, I think you're paying for the name Ravin, the performance Ravin gives you, 470 feet per second. You got the rail driven, gear driven cocking system, which, I think is great because it seems like it's going to last. You get an illuminated scope. But again, me as a budget guy, without actually getting my hands on one of these, and I'm not just gonna, I'm not going to go spend $2,000 on a crossbow to see if I like it, right? I'm just not. And even, people say go shoot them, right? Well, you better know someone who has one of these, because you can shoot a crossbow, I'm gonna say like 10 times. And be like, it's not bad. Yeah, spend your money on it, buy it. And then get home and start noticing the things you don't really like. Me, right? Last year, I bought a Killer Instinct Hero 380. Shot it a few times. I did some videos on it, right? And I thought, you know what? For the price that I bought it for, it's a decent crossbow. And for some people, it'll be perfect, right? But I actually just sold that because I'm not going to use it. When I have other options, from Barnett, my center point, I'm not going to use that Killer Instinct. And that's not to say that it's not great. It's all right. But there are things that I personally didn't like about it, right? I didn't love the vibration that you got from it. It felt cheap, but it was cheap, you know? But my friend uses it, likes it just fine, right? So you're gonna have these things that are personal to you with each crossbow. For me, I don't want to guess that I'm gonna necessarily like a Ravin for $2,000, right? You better find somewhere that you can go and you can try that out, right? That way, you know for sure, hey, $2,000, it's probably worth it. But you know, there's obviously very nice things about this. Narrow. It's got the cables on top and bottom, so you get nice, straight, smooth, you know, even string movement. You know, and you get endurability with most Ravins, right? They're known for being solid. Hey, you can shoot 100 yards accurately. They're known for being extremely accurate. I'm not going to shoot 100 yards. I mean, I might for fun, but it's not going to be something I do consistently, right? I'm not shooting a deer that far away. And definitely not shooting anything smaller that far away. So, you know, as great as that is it worth the price tag? Again, I lean towards no. But if you have the money and you want to get one of these, I mean, you can be part of the Ravin community. It's sweet. But I don't know if it's definitely not a budget-friendly crossbow, right? At 470 feet per second, you can get fairly close with some other stuff. You can, if you're a budget-minded crossbow user. I guess as I look at this, I can't help but wonder, how is it gonna hold up to like a Michigan winter, right? I hunt in the snow and sometimes in heavy snow. So you have those rails. Is that gonna freeze up? How do you make sure that, you know, you keep it clean in there? Because you can see in this image, you can see those in there. So as you target shoot, even without a foot stirrup, so you're putting it down on the ground to crank it up, is dirt gonna cause problems? Is, like I said, snow gonna cause problems? It's a cool bow. I guess I was hoping for more because Ravin is so, like, you know, they're touted as the top, right? You got 10-point and Ravin, and they're always, hey, you know, who's doing the biggest, the baddest, who's got the newest technology, right? I guess I'm just not sure for $2,000. I'd love for Ravin to change my mind. Contact me, Ravin. I am more than happy to test these out, right? And I think what's funny to me is that I love Centerpoint, right? Centerpoint and Ravin, they're the same company basically, right? They're the same umbrella of companies. I feel like Centerpoint sometimes thinks stuff through better for your average hunter than Ravin does. Don't get me wrong, it's a sweet bow. It's just so expensive. It really is. Now, if you're a Ravin user, I'm not bashing you. If you have the money and you can get one of these, tell me why it's awesome. Or tell me why your Ravin is awesome. Why do you love your Ravin? Is it worth the price tag? Convince me, right? Convince me. Because for me, this is not what I lean towards. It just isn't. I don't want to spend that much on my bow. I'm already spending a ton on my deer tags here in Michigan, which is probably going to go up even more, right? Going off on a tangent. basically what I'm saying is I'm already spending enough each year for my bows, and as these bows get faster and faster, then you got to buy the expensive targets, right? To make sure you don't lose your bolts or damage your bolts, because if you damage your bolts, then you got to get more bolts, and bolts are crazy expensive now too. So yeah, convince me. Oh, are these worth it? For me personally right now, no. Maybe someday. Again, Raven, I'd love to test these out if you see this video, but you probably won't. So yeah, guys, check it out. See if it's for you. It might be. You might like it. There's some cool technology there. I was hoping for more. I honestly was. Just seems very similar to a lot of other stuff that might be cheaper. And, I guess that's your personal choice. Like I said, the Killer Instinct SWAT X1. Killer Instinct is known for being a more budget-friendly bow, but it looks very, very similar and has some features that I'd like to see on this one. Let us change out the grip. That would be pretty cool. Give us a foot stirrup. Please just give us a foot stirrup on these Ravens. That way you can keep your stuff out of the dirt, out of the mess. Thanks for coming, guys. I'd love to hopefully get my hands on a few crossbows. I am in the process of making that work here as summer starts to roll in at the end of spring here. Hopefully going to have some demons to test out. Hopefully try out the new T-Rex from Barnett. Obviously, I work closely with Barnett. I'd like to work closer with some of these other brands, but again, I can't afford to just go out and buy a Ravin, go out and buy a Center Point. I'd love to, but channel isn't that big. So for now, we're waiting to get some more crossbows from some people to try them out. Thanks for checking this out. Guys, if you like this video, subscribing always helps. I hate to be that guy, but if we can get up to 1,000 subscribers here, we're getting close. I think we're like 45 away. That would help out a lot to move the channel forward. So thanks for watching this. If you made it all the way through, again, if you're a Ravin lover, you love your Ravin, tell me why. I'd love to hear why. Obviously, we're not here to fight over our crossbows. We're here to just talk about them. So have a good one. We'll catch you on the next one.